What's up, guys? I thought I'd just shoot you another update. I'm quite disappointed, actually. I recently bought 4 of these stepper motors. They were relatively cheap, but the way they work is that there's like this motor here, and it has all these different poles, and as you charge each one of these individual cables, you fundamentally can create a system whereby the motor is attracted to each of the individual poles, and you can actually control each of the steps that the motor goes through in a revolution. So you typically see these kinds of motors used in things like air conditioners and like swivel motions and stuff like that. But they're supposed to have particularly high torque and be relatively tolerant to things like fluctuations in voltage and stuff like that. So I thought it'd be great for things like motion. I mean, fundamentally, there's far more powerful versions, like this one here, which I am using for my Stargate that I'm building at the moment, which is also used like in my 3D printer. And that's, once again, you can see like the 4 cables here. Each one of those cables has a an on-off charge value, which then goes around in a circular pattern and then makes this motor move in a kind of fixed number of steps per revolution. And you can sort of see it ticking. Get that back in focus there. You can sort of see it ticking as it goes around. These little cheap ones are far less complex, but with a control board like this, it's supposed to work in exactly the same fashion. Basically, you've got these 4 LEDs that run across the bottom here, which represent the 4 pins that are up here. And as you pulse each one of these pins, 1, 1 and 2, 2, 2 and 3, 3, 3 and 4, 4 and 1, and then back to just 1, it will then charge each of the poles on this motor, which then, incrementally turn the motor around. As you can see all these magnetic steps on the bottom here. But, as I said, it's a disappointing video. I bought shitloads of them. And that is it in motion. Now, it looks like it's relatively, powerful. If I put my finger on it, it sort of fights against me here. But compared to the torque that I showed you in that other video the other night, wow, this is rubbish. So I just literally stopped. It took me a long time to get it going, because this is determined. You can see these lights flashing here in the video. These pulses are very sensitive to the timing as well. So you've got to provide the right millisecond interval between each pulse of each individual wire as it charges up each one of the coils that then charge each one of those magnets, therefore moving the motor in a particular step angle. I mean, stepper motors have their advantages, because you can basically say move to step number 64 or move to step number 128, and it will move to a specific rotation, because you can count the number of steps that you've moved in a known quantity around the motor. But if I can stop it relatively easily, then I immediately lose knowledge of where I am. So relatively, I don't know where this position is compared to where I'm expecting it to be. So anyway, long video, but thought it might be interesting for you guys to know that I've just wasted a shitload of money on motors that probably will be useless for this project. Hope you're enjoying your Saturdays. Bye.